Have you guys ever driven a Ford F-150 with your cousins and you had the right of way and someone rams into you and they end up blaming you for it? Yeah, that's what partially this video is going to be about. Why do they keep blaming us for their mistakes? So we're going to figure out who these guys are and why they keep blaming us. But yeah, let's get straight into the video.
Once upon a time, a couple of weeks ago, I was scrolling my feed when I saw Hot Snow White just absolutely slicing through enemies with a battle axe. And
Whoa! Never mind. Looks like Moxie's face from Borderlands with the plot as well. I'll pass.
the post screamed at me in all caps, "This game is for you. You are the target audience."
Let me guess, it's a mobile game.
I said, "Me?" They were right, of course, but in the moment, I almost missed it.
Question, guys, is too much gooning, or not gooning, too much fan service just bad? I feel like there's a point where it's like, okay, at this point, just make them naked, you know? Like, there's nothing for the imagination.
The real fairy tale, a studio in the Grand 2-6 using the phrase target audience, unprompted, very sincerely, and I thought that phrase had perished. A relic of a forgotten age, something passed down only in legends by elder gamers around a campfire. But no, there it was, and it gave me a lot of hope. Unfortunately, though, this is not that kind of story, because not long
Oh, the twist.
after that, High Guard news graced my screen, and I learned that almost the entire team had been let go, and one of the devs had an answer for why. To absolutely no one's surprise, he said it was the gamer's fault. So,
I always find it fascinating how whenever something fails, it's always the gamers, the consumer's fault. Yeah, even Topaz agrees, and it's quite frustrating. They will put the blame on anyone but their own team and them.
one studio looks at players and said, "We made this for you." The other says, "You did this to us." And that tension,
That sounds like a toxic relationship. What do you mean you didn't make me a sandwich? I don't know where I was going with that.
who you are making games for, whether or not you actually respect them, and whether you're willing to own it when things go wrong, is pretty much everything that we are covering as we look at some of the most recent gaming news of the past 2 weeks. Okay, in case you are not chronically online like me, which
You know what? Personally, I've been enjoying Overwatch 3. I grinded it hard to get all the Hello Kitty challenges done, and boy oh boy was that frustrating as heck to deal with, but I got it done.
good for you. I am trying to be better about it. Let me catch you up really quickly. Free games launched last week. Mugenics, a cat tactics game that has already sold 1 million copies, Relooted, which had journalists buzzing,
The flip is Relooted. I have never heard of that.
peaked at a whopping 57 players,
Ooh, that's probably why I never heard about it.
and Killerin, a new live service Square Enix game that seemingly no one had ever heard of,
Yeah, I agree. What is that?
peaked at just under 900 players.
Oh boy. Yeah, yeah,
Square Enix, if you are somehow watching this, your secret is safe with me. 1,200 Ubisoft employees recently went on a 3-day strike, massive layoffs, continued internal chaos, but
See, I'm curious on how strikes work. Like, you're obviously not working. How do you get paid? Because you're not working. Do you just have enough money on the side? I can't do that. I wouldn't do that.
don't worry guys, they have reassured us.
Then again, I'm blessed to work at a family company, so I don't have to worry too much about strikes.
Yet again, that Assassin's Creed Shadows is still performing better than expected. 1348 Xboto released their demo, and the lead voice actress describes the experience as something everyone would love.
What is everyone playing? What do you mean they're not playing this game?
Overwatch had a whole situation involving a new character's face, a voice actress, and the phrase Ozempic
Oh my gosh, this thing. Oh my gosh.
chic. We'll be getting to that later. Ashes of Creation, potentially 140 million in fraud, and a founder whose professional background is multi-level marketing. So yeah, that tracks, honestly. And somehow, like I said at the start of the video, High Guard has gotten worse, much worse. So let's start there. High Guard, man, we knew things were bad a couple of weeks ago, but it has kept getting worse. 16 days after launch, most of the team was laid off.
I think that just sucks. That is rough. I wonder how many people that worked on the game had like thinking like, oh, this game's gonna be bussin', and how many people are like, we're screwed, we're done for, we're gonna get let go. Honey, get that Lambo and sell it. We're gonna need to cut back and get ready for weeks of just Mr. Noodles.
Studio said that they are keeping a core group to support the game, but now the website has kind of gone down, so support group is
No, I don't even think the game's gonna last a year. I am positive it's gonna go out of service in no time.
probably more accurate.
And that's the scary thing about a lot of the games that people buy nowadays is what if it just ends of services because not enough people play it.
At this point. And then came the now deleted response
See, it's like that marathon game or whatever the heck it's called from Bungie. If the game was free, I would download it and play it once in a while. But the fact I have to spend, I think it was around 40 bucks Canadian, if I'm not mistaken, that's just such a turnoff because I'm like, people aren't even praising it right now. Why would I want to spend 40 bucks on a game that might not even last a year? And I'm only going to play once in a while, you know? I think they should make it free and just get the money off of stuff from the shop.
from one of the laid off devs, and I genuinely wanted to hear it. What was the cause of all of this? What happened? Why no early access?
All of it happened because of us, the consumer, the gamers. It's our fault. Obviously, we need to be buying, supporting every single AAA game company's game because if we're not, we're bigots and we might as well just not game.
Was it the generic art style and forgettable characters, the overhype from the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley? Maybe some honest reflection? Nope. He posted a full thread essentially blaming gamers. He said consumers
I feel like that's gotta be like on another level of childish, you know? Oh my gosh, self entitlement. I made a perfect game. What the flip are these people yapping about? It'd be like when I make YouTube videos and someone tries to say, yo, this part of the video kind of sucks. And then I'm like, screw you, buddy. I'm flawless. Just don't watch my video. Screw you. How dare you try to help me improve?
put absurd amounts of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. He also said innovation is on life support, which is a lot of words for it wasn't us. And remember, this is coming from a free-to-play hero shooter. He also included feedback from other industry people praising the game as proof that it was actually good, which is basically the equivalent of bombing your final exam in school and then
I'm kind of curious, you guys. Anyone in chat, if anyone's watched up to this far in the video, what are you guys' thoughts on hero shooters slash shooter loot, like shoot and evac games, like Arc Raiders? I feel like it's sort of, especially with the loot and extract games, I feel like they're ending up sort of popping out like battle royales. Like you get a couple good ones, and then there's just so many knockoffs trying to fight for your attention. Personally, for the extract shooter games, my biggest one will just stay with Helldivers with some Arc Raiders. Marathon, if it was free, I'd probably play it once in a while, but like I just can't justify it. I don't have enough time in the day. Man, I work 10.5 hours. I can't just be gaming on all these games.
showing your professor screenshots of your group chat saying, "You're gonna crush it, bro," as evidence that you deserved an A. And
if anyone says only 10.5 hours, that shouldn't be a brag. The goal in life is to work as little as possible.
when you stop to think about it, it is kind of crazy. Almost 100,000 people showed up and gave this game a shot, which is a massive deal that some indie devs could only dream of. But then losing 95% of them so quickly and telling me that you have no idea how that happened, I am sorry. Somebody
They are coping so hard.
in that building had to know. You are telling me nobody sent an anonymous email to leadership titled "Just a Thought" with a link to Concord's peak player count because they either weren't allowed to say it or they
How many Concords do we have now? I heard we're at like 4 or something like that. Because apparently Marathon, I think that's what it's called, the Bungie game. I heard that one is a Concord. I think that we had a couple other Concords. I don't remember.
had already seen what happens to people who do. Now, the dev also described the laid off team as passionate indie devs who were being forced back into corporate, which Sounds really devastating until you find out that the undisclosed lead financial backer for this whole passionate indie project was Tencent. Yes, that Tencent. And here is where it gets even more interesting because Tencent's senior vice president also sits on the advisory board of the Game Awards.
Oh my gosh. That's why they were at the end. Everyone freaking out. My gosh, it's Titanfall 3.
The same Game Awards that gave Highguard the coveted final slot of the night for free, mind you.
Oh my gosh. This cheeky mother trucker is the one that ended the game's life.
While reportedly charging other studios up to $1 million for their spots. The same Jeff Keighley who was hyping this game up for days before launch like it was going to change everything. Now, I am not trying to jump to conclusions here. I am just saying that's a lot of coincidences sitting around in the same room together. A free-to-play live service hero shooter chasing a trend that has already buried how many studios at this point, and it gets the most coveted spotlight in gaming. And where exactly was the passionate indie vision? The Battle Pass?
Yeah, I think it's good when AAA studios lose a bunch of money and just have bad games. Because they're going to lose money, and then when things get rough, that's when they start creating things that are actually good. That's why indie games can pop off so hard, because they don't have, well, I should say they have the passion to work on a game and make something unique and fun, where these big corps just don't care. They just want money, 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 money. Let's release a game. Let's release the same game for the 27th time. Let's put more battle passes in it. More $50 in-app purchases. Good lord.
I don't know. But what really gets me is that before launch, studio head Chad Green.
Also, my thought on like shop items in stores, I think they're way too gosh dang expensive. I think you'll make more money if you have things for cheaper. Like, make it competitive. Be like, oh, this game's selling legendary items for 20 bucks Canadian. You know what? We sell our legendary items for 13 bucks Canadian. That's like 8 bucks off. And ours looks better. Come on down to our side of town if you want to look cool while you're playing games.
Told Polygon, whether it gets 1,000 people or 100 million people, it doesn't matter. And then, unfortunately, 16 days after launch, most of the team was laid off.
I feel bad for the team that got laid off, or at least for the ones that were genuinely trying to work to make a game that is good. And they're getting cucked by the bosses who just do not care.
It looks like it kind of mattered, Chad. But the dev that posted that initial thread blaming gamers just lost his job. He lived through this echo chamber of toxic positivity, the poor leadership, the nobody in the building able to speak up culture that we talked about in my last video. He is the person that all of these bad decisions rolled downhill onto. And after all of that, his takeaway was still the gamers. He went through this whole thing and somehow came out on the other side, seemingly having learned nothing. And that is, unfortunately, extremely Concord of him. But if we look at Overwatch and what they have been up to, you might be able to see a glimmer of hope for the future. Until they completely squashed it by bending the knee to the latest public outrage. Think Jon Snow and Daenerys if Daenerys were the undying Twitter mob that simply cannot let us have attractive female characters. Real quick before that, a quick break for today's sponsor.
Rocketmoney, guys, use code rocketmoney.com/NPC. Amazing product. I highly recommend.
Links in the description. You can start using it for free and unlock more features with premium. So speaking of accountability, or lack of it, Blizzard actually did something shocking recently. They took it. They admitted Overwatch 2 wasn't working how they intended, did a full rebrand, a massive content push, and it worked.
Guys, what are your thoughts on Overwatch 3 so far? Are you guys enjoying it?
Numbers went up, people were genuinely excited.
Found out that the second week had more plays than the first week. So I feel like that's gotta be a good thing.
Myself included, I almost re-downloaded the game, but then I came to my senses just in time. Part of all of this, though, was introducing a new hero for this season, Onrun. She looks great in the cinematic, looks good in game, but people noticed that.
And I didn't know how to play with this character for many games, and then I actually took her into the training course, and I was like, oh, that's how you use her. Noted.
That she didn't quite match the original version that Blizzard had showed off. was fair enough. The, hey, can we get her a little closer to her original design request started popping up, and I didn't really think too much of it at the time, but then Onron's voice actress posted a video calling this
Scenarios like this, I feel like 95% of people don't even realize or pay attention to. I think it's only the very small amount of people who are deep into the community of the game who see stuff like this and want change. Because I feel like majority of people who work come home, play like a game or two a day or maybe even a week. They don't look into this. They don't care. I'm assuming a change happened. I didn't know that. But like most people just don't keep up with this. So this I feel like is irrelevant
a hill worth dying on.
For the overall thing, but it's still bad publicity, especially when you're trying to make your Overwatch 3 game pop off.
And she used the phrase Ozempic chic. That is when it became pretty clear what was actually happening, because what started as a reasonable...
And at the end of the day, you want your game to sell stuff, right? It's like Concord. No one wanted to be those things, like those characters. People want attractive characters. I feel like only certain people, like, I don't know, man. It's smart to have characters that look fine if you want to make money.
Hey, can we get her a little closer to the original from actual players? Got hijacked almost immediately by a completely different crowd with a completely different opinion. One that wasn't about accuracy at all, but about making her less attractive. And the voice actress essentially confirmed it herself when someone in her comments told her,
okay, if they wanted to change it to the animation more, whatever, I don't care. I don't even. But if they wanted to try and purposely make her just look ugly, that's just so silly. Like, what kind of company would do that? Like, we need to make money by making these women look fine. Oh, let's just start making them ugly. Yeah, that'll sell.
To push the
we got an agenda to push. We can't let everyone look fine.
Agenda with the character, and she replied, "I shall." And then I started seeing other complaints pop up. The face is wrong, the message is wrong, the outfit's too tight, she needs to be covered up more. And then suddenly, the people who just wanted closer to the original design are now sharing a hashtag with people who never wanted her to look good in the first place. I do just want to pause on the original.
Yeah, she's showing too much skin. Give her full pants, give her a full shirt. Ooh, still too much skin. Let's cover her face somehow. Oh, her grippers are out. Let's give her some big old shoes. Oh man, all we see now is nothing.
Design point for.
Oh, she's too skinny. Let's make her chubby. Chubby's not good enough. Let's make her fat. There we go.
For a second, because that is so funny to me. These are the same types of people who told us we were being weird when we noticed Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2, who said, "Why do you care? It's just a game. Relax." When people pointed out Aloy in the Second Horizon, who told us to stop objectifying women every time someone mentioned the female character changes in the Capcom remakes. But the point is, we were the problem for noticing. And then at the same time, Leon Kennedy gets the full glow-up treatment.
What a man right there. That's a beast. Bet he's got it. Never mind.
Female devs at Capcom are lovingly worshipping his neck wrinkles, and he is actually getting full-on thirst trap videos from official Capcom accounts. And the response has been universally positive, which is good. But the rule is apparently original designs matter unless the original was too pretty. Blizzard, you just got back on track by actually listening to your player base.
Matt, oh my gosh, so help me if Blizzard starts going back to their Overwatch 2 ways. Oh my gosh.
Do not immediately reverse that by surrendering to the mob.
You need to fight against these people trying to push an agenda. The moment you bow down to these, regardless of whatever, like with the whole left side, the right side, I don't give two rats. You push, like if you bend your knee to either side, they're just gonna try and step on you further and see how much further they can go. If you have a vision for a certain thing, you stick to your vision. Now, obviously, feedback is important to...
Now, if Overwatch was accountability getting hijacked mid-comeback, Ashes of Creation is what happens when all of this is completely thrown out the window and respecting your players was never even part of the plan. I have been going down this whole rabbit hole for the last few weeks on this, and it goes incredibly deep, like multiple levels of fraud, embezzlement, and manipulation deep. allegedly. And I am not really an MMO person either. I did some Elder Scrolls Online a couple years back.
I think I played Elden Scrolls Online for like an hour, and I was like, yeah, not for me. I played Elden or not Elden Ring, whatever the Skyrim 4, whatever the heck they had. I played that, tried it, not a fan. I tried to do it with mods as well. Got probably like 5 hours in, and it was like Skyrim's just not for me.
And a little RuneScape back in my church youth group era. But Ashes was supposedly the next big
I have a coworker that plays RuneScape at work while he's working.
MMO. It was kickstarted back in 2017, raised 3.2 million, had
He plays it on his phone. I guess it's also on the phone.
nearly a decade of development, and the community was completely ride or die for this. It hit Steam Early Access in December of 2025, so just a couple months ago, and 52 days later, the entire studio is gone. Now, from what I have learned in my research, on the surface, this
That's absolutely wild.
normally wouldn't be anything too crazy. MMO Kickstarters are kind of cursed, actually, so many of them have had issues over the years, and it's pretty rough. But for Ashes of Creation, if you start digging deeper and pulling at some of the threads, the whole thing just unravels very quickly. Starting with the founder, Stephen Sheriff, who had zero game development experience before this. His background was multi-level marketing.
Oh.
MLM to MMO, yeah. So for years, he publicly claimed that he had personally invested millions of his own money because he believed in this project so much,
So he took the money and left? Question mark.
which naturally inspired the community to open up their wallets too. But now an investor has come forward claiming Steven never put in a single dollar. The real money was roughly 140 million from outside investors, and there was supposed to be a board overseeing all of this, holding meetings, keeping everyone accountable, but apparently they never even held a single meeting, which makes complete sense once you learn that the board was essentially just Stephen, overseeing himself, reporting to himself, presumably giving himself glowing performance reviews and a very reasonable bonus.
That's actually crazy. What the flip? Prison question mark? Prison time? Prison arc?
It is giving I am the Senate. It just completely baffles me. How was he getting away with this for so long? Was anyone seriously looking into it? Why was everybody just taking him at his word? We also know that players spent tens of millions on cosmetics for a world that wasn't even finished yet. And I don't want to pile on people who lost money here, but buying an outfit for a game that does not fully exist yet is a level of trust and optimism that I can only dream of having about any.
Yeah. Yep. I get that. Oh my gosh. The power of wanting a skin. The consumer can be so blinded. That's why it's always good to wait a couple days when the skin comes out that you like. Be like, do I really need to spend this money? Especially on a game that's in this scenario, like, is not even out.
Thing in my own life. And when it all came crashing down last month, Steven decided to resign in protest. He blamed the board, which again is basically just him, for unethical decisions. And since the game technically launched for 52 whole days in early access, Kickstarter refunds are now kind of unclear, but
That is actually a pile of baked beans. This guy.
I don't know how he's gonna get away with this. Because here's what 9 years got us. 3.2 million from Kickstarter backers, tens of millions spent by players on cosmetics, 140 million allegedly raised and unaccounted for, and 123 people who showed up every day and built this thing, losing their jobs in a single afternoon. And that
220 people just losing their jobs like that. That's crazy.
doesn't even get into all of the asset moving Steven allegedly did at the end of last year, which
I wonder if he's gonna try and leave the country.
really makes it seem like he was trying to cover every exit. It is pretty diabolical and almost impressive in a super gross way. It's clear that the real priority here was never the game. It was never the community that funded it. And everyone who gave money to this deserved so much better than a founder who was essentially running an MLM with a fantasy skin on top.
I really hope anyone who spent money on that game now learns to maybe wait till the game actually comes out. I feel like a lot of people need to be careful where they're shooting their money out.
So after all of that, Highguard pointing fingers at the 100,000 people who actually showed up, Overwatch's comeback nearly getting kneecapped before it could find its footing, Ashes being whatever Ashes was, we do keep coming back to one thing: accountability. Because look at what happens when you take it.
Yeah, they don't do that whole thing. That's a slur in the gaming industry.
Sean Murray could have posted a thread after the whole No Man's Sky debacle, blamed toxic gamers, and made it everyone else's problem.
Ma'am, you can't say accountability. That's not right, girl. That's illegal. You ought to make you disappear. Throw that woman on the Diddy train.
Instead, he just went quiet and started fixing it. And now we are at free updates for 10 years and the game is beloved. Balatro, one guy in the Discord every single day taking notes because he said the players knew more about how to play the game properly than he did. 5 million copies sold. Satisfactory spent 5 years in early access listening. Their community manager said it best: sometimes it is good to just listen to what people are asking for and give them that. Eugenics made a cat game for a decade and sold 1 million copies in a week. And Knight's Path, the upcoming medieval game, is now at 300,000 wishlists. All of these examples have looked at their audience and said, we see you, we are making this for you.
I agree. Obviously, like I said before, if you have a vision for a game, go for it. But also, it's good to get your viewers, your player bases, infeed on it, and try to find a middle ground.
Here it is. None of these developers had the biggest budgets. None of them had the loudest marketing.
I get the rest of this video. We'll call it there. Yeah. No, it's quite baffling to me how many big-time developers just end up bashing the player base. Like, when will they learn that that's just gonna push people away? There's a reason why me and my brother are done with Call of Duty. There's a reason why we're done with other AAA games. They don't care. They don't care about us. Why should we care about them? Put your time and money into something that will recuperate your value. Like they'll actually care about your value as an individual instead of just seeing you as a number. You know? Remember, you guys are human. You're not numbers. Anyways, I forgot to say this in the last video, but I'm gonna say it in this video. Last video got a bit heated, but don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the channel if you like what you saw. I think this person did a wonderful job. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Take care, and God bless you all. Peace.